Is it hard being a woman in 2024 at the workplace?
Yes and no. I think we have come really far in having more women be managers and be leaders. And so there's a lot more empathy in terms of schedules, that flexibility, that balance.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Unicorn. I'm Jimmy Owens. If you work for a company or you own a company, be sure to leave a comment. Tell us what you do in the comments, and we're going to start giving you guys shout outs. But you have to leave a comment and tell us what you guys do. Our guest today is Beth Adele, and Beth, you may have the longest title that I've ever probably would had to say. So instead of me butchering it, I'm going to ask you, tell us what your title is.
Sure. I am the Chair of Mass Communications and Director of Nonprofit Leadership and Associate Professor at Oklahoma City University.
Nice. Thank you for helping me out.
No problem. They keep tagging it on. Instead of just creating something new, it's like, well, you'll do that, and then you'll do that, and then you'll do that. And they always ask if I want to. So
that's why you're here, right? Yeah. You're a unicorn, right? That's why you're here.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah, we wear a lot of hats, so got a lot of titles.
Lots of hats.
Do people ever confuse you with the singer Adele?
No, but
because that's how you say your last name.
That's how you say it.
Yeah.
However, it's been very fortunate that she's been so famous because obviously I'm older.
Yeah, right.
Well, maybe not obviously. I'm older than she is. So for the longest time, people would pronounce it in funny ways,
So
Adele or Adelaide or something, right? And so when she became famous, it has helped people understand how to pronounce it. But it is still kind of country singer-esque where it's like two first names, right? And sometimes I'll just be called Adele.
Yeah, sometimes you're
like, sure, that's me.
Sometimes Miss Adele, you're like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Can you sing?
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
You want to do it?
Sure. Why not? My undergrad degree is musical theater.
Okay.
From the University of Central Oklahoma. And so singing is something that I am passionate about. I really love it. And I have been a professional performer locally, as well as regionally, lyric theater, and then the Philharmonic with if you've ever been to the Christmas shows and so forth. I've always been a part of that chorale. And yes.
That's cool. What's your favorite song to sing? Happy birthday.
Not happy birthday. I don't know.
The national anthem.
Oh, heavens no. That is so hard to sing. It is so, especially for a female.
I can't sing.
It is so hard. The range is crazy. And then you get ahead of yourself in the lyrics. And so sometimes you're like, where am I in the lyrics?
Yeah.
And it's so hard. So props to anybody who does that in public.
Okay.
It's such a hard song to sing.
Nice.
No, it's so funny you asked that about my favorite song. When I was in interview and audition class in my undergrad, I was singing several different songs, and my teacher at the time, the late Tamara Long, amazing woman, she stopped me, just said, stop it, you're not in it. You are not vested in all of this. Sing a different song. And so I ended up singing like an old John Denver song my dad used to sing to me, and evidently it just changed everything.
That was your song.
Yeah, and I just because I could easily feel the emotion behind it, and I didn't have to think about it. And that is something that I've kind of carried with me for a long time. But no, I'm a torch singer person. I'm like the,
I don't know what torch singer means.
It's those big ballads, those cabaret old ballads, kind of jazzy tunes that's what I tend to. So like, I'm thinking of one.
What about the John Denver song?
Oh, no. No.
Okay.
We can't start crying early in the podcast, maybe a little bit later.
Okay, all right.
But how about, I'm gonna love you like nobody's loved you, come rain or come shine. So something like that.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, very like classy kind of.
That's
kind
how I
of
was
reminds
trained.
me of like 50s kind of like.
Yeah, standards. Yeah. It was how I was trained. It's really, if you came up to me and said, now do some, you know, crazy pop
like
tune.
that's your style.
Yeah.
That's your style. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I wish I had someone here. Joe, what would you call that style? We're going to put it on Joe because I don't know. He doesn't know. Sorry, guys.
Any style you
Leave
want.
a comment. Leave a comment of what style it is. Help us out. All right. So you can sing. Do you like tap dancing?
I love tap dancing.
You do? Okay.
Love it so much. So much.
All right. What about, so do you sing and dance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, when I was growing up, there's certain styles of dance where a certain physiology is better, and my physiology has remained rather the same most of my life. And so anything that's kind of a dance that's strong or kind of into the floor and rhythmic, that's kind of the dance that I've always been into. So the tap and the jazz and so forth. But I appreciate and I love ballet.
Yeah.
And everybody should be trained in it if you're a dancer. The technique absolutely has to happen, but it's not something people like call me up professionally for.
Yeah. So on the ballet side, you do have a kid in ballet.
I do.
Right?
I have a 15-year-old daughter, and she has danced since she was 2 years old.
So when she watches this, is she better than you or not?
Oh, hands down, she's better than I am.
All right.
She's so better than I am. I mean, there comes a moment where I go, I'm not giving you any pointers on this because that is because I grew up in a small town.
What small town?
Ulaga, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And my dance teacher was amazing, but kind of the only game in town, right? So
how big was that graduating class?
84.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah,
like
I graduated
1A,
from Owasso though. I moved to Owasso my junior and senior year, and that graduating class was like 320 or something like that. But so you kind of are with that one person being trained, and I did a lot of other things, and I had 3 older brothers, and they were in the sports, so I did soccer,
you're the
and I
youngest
did.
Of 4?
I am the youngest of 4 and the only girl.
Yeah. Yeah, they took care of you, I'm sure.
They looked out for me, but in terms of like taking care of people, I made them a whole lot of cookie dough. So, I didn't have quite the same training opportunities as my daughter does.
Yeah, right.
And so she surpassed me probably in middle school.
Yeah, I got you.
So good.
Totally. I get it. I mean, same thing with my kids too.
Yeah.
Smarter, faster, better. No, yeah. So you do have kids. How
I do.
Many?
3.
3?
I have a 16-year-old boy, 15-year-old girl, and a 7-year-old boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I keep looking at my phone today because I didn't write stuff on my note cards today, so I'm over here on my phone. So
we're technology-driven today.
I'm not scrolling. Yeah. So I'm going to give you guys one of these.
It's okay.
There you go. It's the only one you're getting probably. Let's see. So is it hard being a woman in 2024 at the workplace?
Yes and no. I think we have come really far in having more women be managers and be leaders. And so there's some more, and I wouldn't say there wasn't empathy, but there's a lot more empathy in terms of schedules, that flexibility, that balance. But now there are so many ways to be remote and engaged. So location doesn't matter as much. And now I feel as though women, especially with families, are in a better position to be able to be as engaged as, or prove that they are as engaged as they've always been.
Yeah.
So I certainly am taking advantage of that. And I think that there's more of an acceptance of that, of yes, I do have to be in the carpool line, and yes, I do have to pick up at a certain time. And with 3 active kids, buses don't do anything, right? So you have to be there. You have to transport 3 different times in the afternoon and the evening. And so knowing that, I can take meetings on Teams and I can still schedule things and speak with people in a professional manner. And I feel that that journey, we'll just continue to take it. Yeah. But it's helped a lot on being not just a woman. I mean, men experience too, probably professionals with families. Yeah. I think professionals with families, it is a little bit easier now.
Yeah. I mean, you probably heard this before. Sometimes people go, I'm going to have a kid and it's going to fix our relationship. You're like, no, this is never, I've heard that before. So anyways, don't have a kid to fix a relationship. But what I'm going to tell you is if you want to become more efficient, have a kid. Having a kid will make you one of the most efficient people in the world. So
the book, Cheaper by the Dozen, read it. Read it.
Yeah.
So it's
Is that
about
not a movie too?
Yes,
Okay.
and it's based on a true story, like real people.
I didn't
and
know that was a real
efficiency experts.
Yeah.
And Frank and Gillian Gilbreth, I think are their names, and invented the QWERTY typewriter because of
Okay.
efficiency.
Oh, really?
Right? So
Okay.
what I love and I took out of that book
Mm-hmm.
to be able to be a more efficient just human, but
Mm-hmm.
of course it's in the parenting thing, is what can you do simultaneously? And that is always in my brain. I'm so glad that
Mm-hmm.
you even said that. It is constantly in my brain. So if I am in the kitchen
Yeah.
and I have a certain amount of time and these 3 things need to go to a kid's room and this one needs to go blah, 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 in my brain,
Yeah.
I'm tracking.
When
all
I
of
go
that.
to the
So
bathroom and I walk by this door, I'm taking this. is what you're saying. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, I got you.
It's constant. And
I cook a lot. I get it.
That is that
Yeah.
I think that is something that we learn over time. But I remember reading that book and thinking, that's genius. I'm going to think that way moving
Yeah.
forward of this efficiency
Yeah.
process. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So I haven't even asked you, why are you a unicorn? Why are you here? Tell us.
I don't know.
What's your unicorn capability?
You know, the moment you invited me here, I watched several of the podcasts and I admire everyone who's been on the podcast and several people I've encountered before and they're amazing humans.
Nice.
I went home to my husband and said, I'm a unicorn. I don't know.
What did he say?
He said, there are many reasons. And of course, he just kind of spews some things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I go, I know you see that, but I think other people have those skills too.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of what I bring to the table, I even asked a student earlier, shout out to Annalise.
I have an
love her.
answer for you.
Well, the only thing
when
I could come up
after you
with
answer, yeah.
was a varied background, and I've been very receptive to my lessons every step of the way.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say she can do anything, and when she does it very well. So there you go. Same concept. This is a different way to say it. Yeah. That's Beth. And she can sing and tap dance.
Which can be really challenging to be
Yeah.
a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Right? Even growing up, I was kind of that way.
Yeah.
I am a problem solver, and that's my gear. I'm almost always in unless somebody says, I don't need you to solve this problem. And I'm getting better at that of saying, what do you need me to be at this point in time? Because I'm just always on board to help people solve problems.
Yeah.
And when you are that way, people seek you out for that.
Yeah.
And it can be a little bit more difficult to network for other purposes, just for
Right.
social purposes or just to hang out, et cetera, because that gear is really hard to shift.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Even at home, right? Yeah. You're like, I just fix everyone's problems.
Yeah, that doesn't go over well with teenagers.
Let's see here. What do you want to tell? What do you want to tell people that have no kids?
Travel.
Travel. All right.
Travel.
Travel.
Yeah, you have no excuse, and you need to be the people right now until all of us have children to where they're in a situation that we can take them with us, right?
Yeah.
I think you can be the data collectors about culture, and I feel like, number one, don't be in a rush to have kids. There's no need to be in a rush to have children.
You can have them late now.
Right. And unless you are
I think
running a
45
farm and you need
45 is considered geriatric now or something like that.
Yes, and don't let the doctors talk to you about how old you are when you have children, but don't be in a rush, and then really make plans, travel. And yes, if you want to have a family in the future, great. You could set that up financially. You can start putting some money away, et cetera. But please don't be in a rush.
Yeah. Well, and then on the other side of that, like, you're never going to be ready to have kids, so don't try to be ready.
No, none of my children were like, and maybe this month we should have a kid.
No.
Nope, that doesn't work.
Mind of their own. What do you want to tell the moms out there?
You're awesome. if you don't feel seen, find another mom. And moms, we compete with each other a lot because we think, well, that person's doing it better than I am. I'm a hot mess. I'm falling apart over here.
Yeah, a lot of headspace.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes with, the people you're following on TikTok. Follow the normal crazy people,
Yeah,
right?
get those people out of your feeds.
Get them, yes.
Yeah.
Manage your algorithm.
Yeah.
Manage your algorithm.
Spend less time on social. How about that?
Less time and be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. Be vulnerable with your kids. And that leads, well, I'll get to that in a minute. But I think my life as a mom, it's hard because I have a bonus child. So my eldest is my bonus son. Mm-hmm. And so I, balance and try and manage that manage that headspace too, which is crazy. And so all you stepmoms out there, I see you too.
Yeah.
We need to be vulnerable, ask for help.
Okay.
And it's okay to delegate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't always have to have the answers.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to cut for our episode sponsor. We'll see you guys just in a second. That was fun. Let's hit up some business hacks and life hacks.
All right, business hacks. Business hacks for me, I'm learning it. I'm still not great at it, but it is being quiet.
Okay. Being quiet. You listening?
Listening.
Is that what you're saying? Interrupting people? I'm just kidding.
No, I am an excited interrupter.
I am too.
I get so excited about the topic, and I will say, "Oh yeah," and I'll jump on
because you got ideas,
things.
right?
Yeah, and I have to get them out before they go away.
I got the same blessing. It's not a problem.
It's the same blessing. I'm going to bless you with my thoughts.
Please.
But sometimes going back to the challenge I have of always being in the gear of problem solving, that if I take a moment to be quiet, they'll solve their own problems. And that has and as you are in more of a managerial role or a teaching role and you have people who are looking to you for solutions and so forth, that has helped me balance my time a lot more of just listening, being quiet, and then coming back to them and saying, what do you want to see done? What do you think should be the solution? And so being a little quieter.
More patient.
Mm-hmm. Instead of just already saying, I know how I'd fix that.
I think Joe's over there just probably just needs like a neck brace. That's what Jimmy needs. I need that same thing.
Yes. So that is something, and I practice it. I'm not great at it. I bet people are watching right now saying, oh, is she lying? It is a journey.
Yeah.
Then I was thinking about life hacks, and the efficiency thing is one of them. Always be thinking, what can you be doing along the way?
Yeah.
And your house will be clean in 30 minutes, or at least picked up in 30 minutes instead of 2 hours, right? Try and not be distracted.
All day.
Sure. You just sit there like, oh, what's this on TV? So that's one thing. But the other one, and I tell my students this, and it's so small, is, and this happened a lot in the 90s and the 2000s, where people felt like professionals looked a certain way. That's when, male and female manicures always happened, and male and female pedicures, and people had to dress a certain way and do something with the eyebrows and leave your lips alone. And so,
thank you. We don't actually have a lip sponsor on our show.
Ethicists, I will say, trust the people who are going to be working on you. Yeah. That's a good one right there. That's a good life hack. But one of them is get a good salt scrub for your hands.
Okay.
Immediate manicure.
Okay.
Immediate manicure. So, I mean, you've been working in the garden, you've been working with tools, whatever, and your cuticles look like bleh.
Yeah.
Salt scrub it. There used to be a great one. It was when the Arcadian Inn was up in Edmond, but now I think it's the Inn up in Guthrie that has it, and it's phenomenal. But just to get a good salt scrub on your hands, and you have an instant manicure.
Okay.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily get the tattoo. You don't have to look a certain way anymore, basically.
Oh, okay. Get the tattoo.
So,
wear the sleeves.
Wear whatever you need to do.
If you want it on your face, get it on your face, she said. If you want it on your neck, get it on your neck.
Neck, I will deal with neck. Face, I will, yes. Maybe not the face.
She said you could.
Maybe
Go ahead
not
and
the
do
face. No, I didn't say
Yeah.
you could. You couldn't work for me, but
She said she'll hire you.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's about you and what you can do.
It's about you.
And what
Absolutely.
you can do.
And if it makes you happy and somebody doesn't want to engage with your happiness, then that's on them.
Yeah. And I will say, people that I've talked to with face tattoos are the nicest people.
They usually are.
Yeah, they are.
I know. And smart.
Smarter than me, usually.
They're
usually very smart. Yeah, they're usually very smart.
I pretend to be smarter.
All right, let's hit you up with the most influential person in your life.
I will say right now, it's my daughter.
Okay, the 15-year-old
is the most influential person in my life. I mean,
Does
there
she
was
know
a time.
this?
No,
Not till now.
she will now.
Yeah, that's
If
awesome.
she
Watches it.
watch or made it to this point,
You're
she'll
going to
watch
make
it.
her watch it if she
Look at
made it
this,
to
Lily.
this point.
Yes. So, I mean, it used to be my grandmother. She passed away. She was 100 years old, and she passed away in 2011. And she had survived everything: Spanish flu, the Dust Bowl. She was on a farm in Kansas. She was a widow at 59 and kept going with the farm and kept working until she was like 92. I mean, just insane, hardy woman, right?
Provider.
Loved every moment. And I think of her
Picked cotton.
constantly. Well, actually, dressed chickens, killed,
Okay, yeah.
dressed,
Yeah, all the good stuff.
labeled, you name it. She was just one of those people that I wanted to emulate in terms of something can get me down, but nothing can hold me down type of a woman.
Yeah.
My 15-year-old exhibits that, but she's so different than me. She has an air of introversion. She observes. She doesn't jump in to engage just because it's popular. She is proud of herself when she speaks to somebody and makes a friend. And it's very deliberate, and it's one at a time. It's not, I want everybody to be my friend. And she does not succumb to that type of pressure at all. And watching her grow, I'm sure I made a ton of mistakes because I just assumed she would be like me. And now, in middle school, I started to realize, oh, she's nothing like me. And I need to just figure out what makes her tick and what's really going to make her happy. Now, I still do silly mom things.
Yeah.
And say silly mom things
Yeah.
that I
You
sometimes have to
to.
take back
Okay.
later. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
No, I got this.
in
I
that
was-
type of guidance.
Yeah, for sure.
But she studies hard because I was one of those kids where if I went to class, I didn't have to study all that hard in school, in middle school and high school.
Not my problem. I did have to study to get a B or C.
And so, but I see her; she doesn't procrastinate. Who is that? Like, it's just like, talk about a unicorn.
Maybe she sees like your household and what's getting done around there, and that rubs off on her, right?
Perhaps.
Maybe it's the environment
she's
she's
an
grown up in.
avid reader, and she's empathetic to a lot of different people and a lot of different friends. I've seen her go through a lot of pain, but then at the same time, she knows herself, or she's taking the time to understand herself. She influences me every day.
That's cool. You think she's going to travel?
Yes.
You do?
Well, she begs me now, and we're already
okay.
thinking like, where can
Okay.
we go?
You guys are going to be like on Amazing Race together or something.
We would kill it. I would love that. She's so, strong and flexible, et cetera. I'd send her like across the ravine and then come back and get me.
This came up on another episode that we recorded.
Oh, really?
Would you be able to eat the items that they want you to eat? The weird, nasty. I don't know. Some people it's not nasty. Would you eat the brains? Would you eat the?
I could I could do all of that. There's one thing that frightens me, and I probably could overcome it.
What is it?
Scorpions.
I don't think that have you eat those.
That's my thing. Like I would have to, I don't know what I would, I don't know. There's something about them.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, they're fun to watch though.
No thanks. No scorpions.
So how did you get to where you're at? Like, I'm really interested for our audience. I mean, I don't know, you don't have to list all of them, but like, how'd you get to where you're at? And I think you have a lot of credibility in your job titles, like not just your long job title that you told us at the beginning of the show, but job titles you've held at places that you would want to say, or you know what I mean? I don't know. How'd you get to where you're at today? Like,
sure.
What
this is like the
here?
tell me about it yourself question. So when I was growing up, I loved anything that I felt was using all parts of me. Brain, body, etc. That's how I got into dance. I got into choir. I got into the arts. But then I loved like honors courses and things like that.
You don't like doing this? It doesn't use all parts, right?
Not really.
I mean, right.
Yeah. And I wanted things that were challenging and I wouldn't get bored with. So when I was making the decision to go to college, my mother is now a psychologist. At the time, she was a psychometrist. But I kept thinking, well, maybe I'll be a psychologist. That type of a person.
What's the difference between
a psychometrist? Is somebody who is an expert in diagnostic testing, and then psychologist is a doctor of psychology. So
like, let's diagnose you for.
I've been diagnosed for everything.
ADHD. Let's like those kinds of tests that you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay, I understand.
And so when I finally decided to go to college, I had been in a couple of professional productions in musical theater before I graduated high school. And I thought, well, that's where I need to go because I will never be perfect. I will always be working to get better. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going to have an opinion, and I need to morph to the audience, to the director, etc. And so that's what I'm going to say. It's going to be hard. And it was. It was very, very hard. The time commitment is very hard. You get trained in so many transferable skills of, the problem that I had today. Always being early. You have to be early to things. You have to be prepared for things. You have to
Does that mean
work
you
with
overthink?
Lots of people.
Do you overthink?
I analyze in advance many times. And overthinking happens. Yes, constantly. So I went into musical theater. Mm-hmm. But then in the back of my mind, I thought, well, wait a minute. I actually enjoy structure. And so I thought maybe I want to own my own theater or something, that entrepreneurial thing.
Yeah.
And so I minored in business, and I had an amazing accounting professor, the late Charlie Percival, who came to every one of my musical theater shows in college and said he was the president of my fan club, even though I know he was the president of everybody's fan club, like all of his students. So if he was the president of your fan club and you're listening to this, I get it. He was everybody's. And he talked me into minoring in business. He said, well, why don't you come over to accounting? And I went, well, I'm not going to be an accountant, but I'll learn more about business, which was great because after graduation, I started teaching voice and acting and dance, but then I decided to go back and get my MBA. And then so many influential people, John Kamey, Stacia Workgray, Nancy Ryan, Daryl Googe. There were many, many people at that point in time in the marketing department where I was their GA. They let me help them teach. They let me help them research. They really just opened the door and said, you want to take the initiative, do it. And that's where the marketing thing happened. And so then I started. And
just for our audience, what's a GA?
A GA, a graduate assistant.
All right, just curious.
Yeah, you get paid and get a little discounted tuition at the same time. And that just made me so happy. So I've worked in many different industries now. I've moved a few different places. I've been in the mortgage industry. I've been in the group sales industry for music festivals. I've been in education industry. I've been a director of career services in an institution of higher education. And after that MBA and being in education, I found I really love teaching. I love consulting. I love marketing. And it's blending that theater thing where it's all about the audience. It's audience-centric. It's not you. has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them and their motivations and their behaviors. And so blending all of that together, because even teaching is that way, right? You meet people where they are, and it's more about them and what they want to learn and where they want to go. And so after all of that, I decided
keep them engaged.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
That is,
you perform for them.
Yeah.
To their you really appeal to their motivations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I thought, well, now I need to legitimize myself. And so I went and got my PhD in human resource development because it kind of blended everything that I had done at that point. And now I'm at Oklahoma City University and have titles because my boss, Dean Cataldi, trusts me with those titles. And I really enjoy them. I really enjoy it because I'm not only able to stay in the classroom, I also get to do some administrative work, and then I get to see all of my students.
Yeah. So I got a couple other questions for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing every bit of that. I have a cousin, and that kind of sparked this question for me.
Okay.
And so here's the question. So give me some guidance to help a kid doesn't know what kind of job they want to do, but know they want to work through college.
So they want to work through college.
They want to go through college, but they don't know what job they want to do to get through college.
Right. But do they know what they're majoring in? Do they know what they want to study?
So they're doing like mission,
Like religion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So lots of opportunity in college. You can either work on campus in different departments and try different departments and work studies and so forth. But then internships, looking for those paid internships. If you have a chairperson or an advisor, you can go to career services as well. There are a lot of people on a campus of higher education, and it doesn't have to be a university setting. It can be a community college setting. It could be a career tech setting. But there are people there who will help them find some of these little pockets of opportunities to be able to work. Now, I have a lot of students, especially in mass comm, who decided,
mass
communications.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure.
So they're either in strategic communications, or they're esports management, or they're in multimedia journalism and broadcast production.
Yeah.
They create their own photography business, or they'll create their own social media, video production. And it's just something that they might work for organizations on campus in that capacity and get paid. Working for the student newspaper is an excellent place to be able to work. So you can get paid at that amount, but internships, and there are a lot of paid internships. Now, I love the fact that Oklahoma is finally getting there, especially in certain industries where they have stopped thinking of interns as volunteers.
Okay.
And so we're seeing more and more paid opportunities.
Yeah. What would you tell someone that was, say, a high school graduate, wants to travel the world but doesn't, and wants to start an online business but doesn't know what they want to do?
So they don't know what the online business needs to be.
You know what? These kids nowadays, they want it instant. They just want to make money online. Come on. It's easy.
Well, I would do my research.
Yeah.
I would go see what is in demand. What are you good at doing, or what can you source? Like, who do you know? Who are your vendors?
Sure.
Listen to them.
Here's my response. Do you want health insurance? Do you want a retirement?
Right.
Do you?
Right.
So if you want these things, you might need to go work for someone else while
Maybe
you're doing this on the side.
Yeah. Or at least see a financial advisor from the get-go and go to that free consultation and see if you can start a Roth IRA or an IRA so that you just have that kind of set up along the way. But I would always advise for collaborations, partnerships.
Sure.
Be an apprentice first before you jump out on your own.
And my advice is don't go take out a loan to start a business unless you know that craft really, really well. Anyways, you see why.
Or find a sponsor. Use somebody else's money.
Someone else.
Find an investor.
How do you help a kid select the proper college degree program?
Oh, that's just listening.
Listening
it's
to
really
them?
listening.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of assessments out there that they can take. They can take, the different personality assessments that can help align, different strengths assessments that can help them align with certain degree programs or industries.
Yeah.
And then it's a puzzle. It's where do you, because students either know where they want to be in the end, or they know what makes them happy when studying. So we can either start at the beginning and then figure out what can I do with that, or this is what I want to do. How do I get there? And speaking with somebody who's been in higher education for a long time.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to leave these questions to you.
And has either worked or studied in multiple different colleges or schools within the university. Those are the people you need to speak with. Career services is one. Absolutely, you need to work with them, but I wouldn't rely only upon the admissions person you spoke with from the very beginning. Go speak to the directors of these programs. Go speak to some of the current students. It is A-okay to be an undecided major. Your first semester. As a matter of fact, your first year, because you're taking in a 4-year institution, you're taking general education requirements. And everybody's taking general education courses. And it is okay to use that time to join an organization, get to know some students, figure out what they're doing, speak to the directors, check with alumni. Where are the alumni of those different majors? And volunteer for them or be a part of those events or work. I tell the students sometimes, why don't you come over and work for the newspaper for a little bit? Maybe be a writer. Maybe you pick up a beat. If you're thinking about journalism, if you're thinking about marketing, let's talk about the differences between the marketing major, the strategic communications major, and some of these other fields that maybe you could go into, and exploring them and being honest.
What do you think the college enrollment is like? You think it's going to keep increasing? Is it decreasing? Like, I haven't looked. I just want to ask. You're more involved in it than I am.
So the traditional enrollment will continue to decrease only because people are not having as many children. I mean, that's...
Geez, I got 3.
Overall.
But 3's less than 11.
Yeah. And so there's going to be just a head count decrease, right? Okay. So what a lot of universities are doing now are aiming for a little bit of a professional development side of things too. So really focusing on some different types of master's degrees and specialty degrees to meet the needs of industry. They are also looking at modality, so offering more online or remote or virtual types of options to be where the student needs to be, and it's not so much location-based. Big challenges there, especially with incoming freshmen, because you don't get the college experience necessarily, but we also understand that if you're going to be traveling or if you're going to be working full-time, that maybe you need a little bit different experience. So I think overall that first-time freshman will continue to decrease, but education, there's still a need for training and development. So I believe that the universities, as well as the career techs, will continue to find ways to heavily weight adult education and certifications.
Okay. Cool. What do you have anything else you want to add? Let me come back to that question.
Sure, you can come back to that question.
What actions do you want our viewers to take? You want them to reach out like on LinkedIn, any other place? You want them to connect with you? Or?
Connect with me on LinkedIn. I was actually going to say like and subscribe to this podcast.
Yes, there you go.
That's the action I want you to take.
Right
now.
Please.
Now, or
I'm not
we
begging
won't
you, though.
Say anything else.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for doing that. Reach out on LinkedIn. If you have a desire to go back to school or you have children in your life who want to go to college and you want to learn more about specifically Oklahoma City University, but really just the experience and what questions to ask, Yes. Hit me up. Reach out, please. Okay. We have a lot of experiential education too. We have a lot of camps. We have a lot of summer camps in MassComm, media camps and esports camps and so forth. So
how young, excuse me, do you guys do anything with high school kids?
We do middle school and high school primarily on these camps. Yeah.
Okay.
There are a lot of other camps at OCU who take elementary school as well. The Children's Theater is one of them it's phenomenal. But we love the middle school age, and because that's where people get to have that divergent thinking of all the possibilities.
Yeah.
And then we can start putting limitations and have that convergent thinking a little bit later on.
Yeah. Cool. Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to add?
You're awesome.
She said it first.
Joe's cool too.
She said it first.
Just cool.
All right, guys. Like she said, subscribe, leave a comment. We're going to give shout outs to the businesses that you tag and leave a description about. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, good job.